Let's move on to the co-main event here. We got another Canadian by way of Latvia, Misha Cirkunov going up against Ryan Spann. Very much looking forward to this fight. I'm a huge Misha Cirkunov fan. Obviously, he trained up at Grants a couple times, mainly Extreme Couture in Toronto, and now he's pretty much full-time down in Vegas training with Ray Sefo and Eric Nixick, I believe the kid's name is, not the kid, the coach. Yeah, you know, and he's saying that he wants to go back to his roots, which is his grappling. He's a very high-level grappler, solid jiu-jitsu, just as we saw in the Jimmy Crute fight, pulling out a Peruvian necktie. Not sure the last time we saw that in the cage, but very good fighter. You know, his chin has obviously been the main question, right? Just like Gavin Tucker, we're always questionable about these guys' chins. But you get knocked out by Johnny Walker. You get knocked out by Volkan Oezdemir. You're getting ground and pounded by one Glover Teixeira, who probably has the best crushing top game, you know, in the light heavyweight division, even at 40 or 42 years old. But then he goes out there and showcases like the Cirkunov fight, the Krylov fight, that if he gets fights into the grappling realm, he could more than likely get the job done. And I think he can do that here against Ryan Spann, right? Ryan Spann leaves a really bad taste in my mouth, especially from that Sam Alvey fight, where one, he's just possibly could have lost that fight, gave away that third round, was getting bombed on by Sam Alvey in that fight. Not a good look at all. Then the Johnny Walker fight, you know, it hurts Johnny Walker a couple times, shoots a desperation takedown and just eats a clean elbow to the side of the head and goes down like a sack of potatoes. So rough little stretch for him here. I believe it's a knockout or bust here for Ryan Spann. We got to hope that he can find that chin of Cirkunov to get that knockout, and hope that Cirkunov, you know, is super chinny and you know, can achieve that Johnny Walker and Volkan Oezdemir type of result. But I feel like we're going to see Misha get in on the takedown here. I feel like we're going to see him get this fight to the ground. And to me, I don't think Ryan Spann really has much off of his back. Yeah, he has a guillotine win over Devin Clark on his record, but let's go back and watch that back. It was Devin Clark desperation takedown, leaving his neck open there, and Ryan Spann just takes it home with him. So I don't think this fight is going that far. I'd be surprised if it even reaches round 3. So if you want to be safe on all fronts here, you know, the under 1.5, I know your guy Paul is on it as well. Minus 140 is not too bad of a price tag, considering these guys don't go to a decision that often. Even Misha Cirkunov, most of his fights finishing in the first round, whether it's him getting knocked out or him choking or knocking somebody else out. I think it's going to be him getting his hand raised this time around. I think he's, you know, technically way better than Ryan Spann pretty much everywhere except the power. That's where I think the difference is. And we're at light heavyweight, where power could absolutely trump all the skill in the world. Just watch Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you can outskill your opponent at 205, at heavyweight, that power, if your chin's not up to snuff, you're definitely going to get put out. So I do like Cirkunov here. I think he gets the sub relatively quickly, plus 155 for the sub, and I believe it's plus 250. Plus 250, yep, for him to win in round 1. I think that's the way that I'm going about this fight. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way on this one. Again, I'm a traitor to my own country. I know. Misha Cirkunov is the best grappler in the division. If this is a grappling match, he absolutely tunes all these guys. Classically trained under Sam Zakula, got his black belt under him, and then bailed and went to Las Vegas. But since then, I mean, all of his fights, you see him, he's just a step above everybody. And he gets bailed out a lot by the grappling. And you see that in the Jimmy Crute fight. The Jimmy Crute fight, he gets on top of him. He looks like $1 million. He gets swept. Jimmy Crute ends up on top. Jimmy Crute starts bashing him. He's done. He looks done. And it's like, boom, he hits a sweep himself, jumps on the Peruvian necktie, makes it happen. And then what has he done? So he takes like 8 months off, apparently had a bunch of injuries. They book him to fight Ryan Spann in December of last year, and Misha Cirkunov pulls out with an injury. So now he's been on the sidelines for 1.5 years. He hasn't fought since the Jimmy Crute fight. Again, it's a long layoff. He's 34 years old. When you mentioned go back to your roots, it's like, roots? Go back to your base? Like, this is what you do well. You're a grappler. Striking has not worked for him. And it's like, his striking has gotten way better, by the way. Like, I remember this guy from his debut. Like, he's a judo black belt. He was a former, you know, wrestler on the Canadian team, BJJ black belt, but he's like stiff, super rigid. Like, even in his debut, like Brian Stan's like, I wonder if he has a back. Brian Stan asked, he's like, I wonder if he has a back injury, because he doesn't move, right? You have seen him get better, but again, when he takes on these superior strikers, not only do they catch him and knock him out, but it's bad. You know, Volkan Oezdemir absolutely stiffens him. Johnny Walker absolutely stiffens him. Both guys have a history of that. Glover Teixeira takes him down and absolutely mauls him. And yeah, I'm on the record saying Cirkunov is the best grappler in the division. But oof, once Punchy got added to the mix, Glover on top is like a scary thing. And again, he couldn't overcome with that. Jimmy Crute's like 21 years old. Made a mistake. Sure, that's what young fighters are going to do. And Jimmy Crute is a young fighter who needs a few lessons, and Misha taught him one. But again, I mean, he's there to get caught. And Ryan Spann's got some glaring issues himself, let me tell you. But the guy can crack. He's a good striker. And, you know, we have a lot of firsts on this podcast. And here's the first. I've never heard my boy Manpreet, a.k.a. Lock of the Night, question Fortis MMA. I've never heard I ain't never seen that shit. So with Ryan Spann, it's like, dude, Safe Saud put a good game plan together. And that game plan would be Misha's extremely dangerous in the first round. He's going to try to come in there. He's going to try to get a hold of you. His wrestling's not super crisp. He's not shooting these double legs. He's not chain wrestling. What he likes to do is clinch up with you. It's more of a Greco-Roman style. Use that judo, toss you to the ground. Once he gets on top of you, you're screwed. But before he gets on top of you, every fight starts standing. Spann's going to have his opportunity to hit this guy and hurt this guy. And that's one thing I do like about Spann. He's a rangy guy. He packs some good power. You go back to even the little Nogueira fight. It's like, you know, that uppercut straight through the middle. Can he go out there and catch Cirkunov and put him away? Yeah. Could Cirkunov take him down and finish him? Yeah. So the under 1.5 does look really good now, doesn't it? Spann's got a history of getting finished in some of these losses. Cirkunov's got a history of getting finished in his losses. Both guys have a path to victory that revolves around a first-round finish. And, I mean, let's be real here. Cirkunov's had 9 fights in the UFC, 7 of them inside of the first round. The last 6 of them inside of the first round. Come on, it's kind of writing itself. He's coming off a 1.5 year long absence. Do you think he wants to fight into the second and third? No. He wants to finish it quick. That's going to oblige by Spann. He wants to finish it quick. And, again, when you're looking at props on this one, it's pretty crazy. So the Misha prop by submission, it's a huge plus money tag. But I ended up going with Spann. And the Spann by TKO was plus 220 or plus 240. Like, it was actually a pretty nice play itself. So whatever side you take, I think you're taking it inside the distance. And if you don't got a great lean on who you think's going to win, I think we can agree that under 1.5 looks good. Now, I've been burned by a couple under 1.5s this year, but, you know, these guys are 205ers with a lot of finishing ability. So I think this one kind of does scream that route.
Even fight won't start round 2 is minus 105. That's not too shabby either. Right.